Smoke swallowed the entire apartment building. Orange flames exploded from the third-floor windows. People screamed from the sidewalks. A woman leaned out of a fourth-floor window, desperately holding a little boy against her chest. "Please, my baby. He can't breathe." Before anyone could react, two police officers shoved a black firefighter against the hood of a patrol car, hands where we can see them. The firefighter didn't resist. He stared at the burning building instead. His name was Captain Elijah Brooks, a 39-year-old veteran firefighter. His turnout coat was covered in soot. His helmet lay on the ground. His breathing was heavy. But his eyes never left the little boy trapped in the window. An officer snapped cold steel handcuffs around Elijah's wrists. "You've been ordered off this scene." Elijah looked directly at him. "If you keep me here, people are going to die." The officer shook his head. "We've got witnesses saying you assaulted a civilian." "I didn't assault anyone. I pulled him away from a collapsing wall." Another explosion echoed from inside the building. Glass rained onto the street. The crowd screamed. Firefighters rushed to unroll more hoses. But the flames spread faster than anyone expected. The little boy began coughing violently. His mother wrapped both arms around him. "We're still here. Please." Elijah took one desperate step toward the building. The handcuffs stopped him. "Officer, I know that building." No one answered. His voice became louder. "I know that building. It's older than it looks. The stairwell is about to fail." Several firefighters turned their heads. One of them whispered, "He's right." The incident commander looked toward the burning entrance. His face tightened. Then, a deafening crack echoed through the street. The entire front staircase collapsed into a wall of fire. The crowd gasped. One firefighter dropped his hose. Another stepped backward in disbelief. The police officers slowly turned toward the burning entrance, then back toward Elijah. For the first time, uncertainty appeared on their faces. The radio on Elijah's turnout coat suddenly crackled. A terrified voice shouted through the static. "Mayday! Mayday! We're trapped on the fourth floor. We can't reach the children." Every firefighter froze. The incident commander grabbed his radio. "What's your location?" Static, then one sentence. "There isn't enough time." Silence. Elijah closed his eyes for 1 second. When he opened them, he looked straight at the officer holding the handcuff chain. "If you wait another 60 seconds, you won't be arresting anyone. You'll be recovering bodies." The officer's grip tightened. But before he could answer, a little girl appeared on the roof. She was waving both arms. And behind her, the flames were moving faster than anyone had ever seen. The little girl screamed, "Help us." The flames burst through the rooftop access door behind her. A wave of heat rolled across the entire street. Several people in the crowd stepped backward. One woman covered her eyes. "Oh my God." Officer Sarah Collins looked from the rooftop to the handcuffs on Elijah's wrists. For the first time, doubt crossed her face. She turned to her partner. "We're running out of time." Before he could answer, the incident commander shouted into his radio. "Engine 7. Report." Only static answered. Then, another desperate voice. "We lost the stairwell. We're boxed in. The children are still up here." The crowd fell completely silent. Every firefighter knew what that meant. There was now only one possible rescue route. Elijah spoke quietly. "The maintenance shaft." Nobody moved. Officer Collins frowned. "What did you say?" "The maintenance shaft. It's hidden behind the laundry room. The original blueprints never removed it." The fire chief looked at Elijah. "How do you know that?" "I helped inspect this building after the renovation 5 years ago." The chief's eyes widened. "You memorized the layout? I memorize every building in my district." Another explosion shook the structure. The rooftop beneath the little girl cracked. She cried out in terror. The crowd screamed. Officer Collins looked at Elijah again. "If you're telling the truth, He interrupted her. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust the people trapped inside. The chief stepped closer. Captain Brooks, if that shaft still exists, can you reach the 4th floor? Elijah nodded immediately. In less than 2 minutes. The chief looked at the handcuffs. Then, at the officers. Before anyone could decide, a firefighter came running from the side of the building. His face was covered in ash. His helmet was gone. He was barely able to breathe. He looked straight at Elijah. Captain, they're trapped exactly where you said they'd be. His voice broke. And we just lost our thermal cameras. The street became eerily quiet. Even the sirens seemed distant. Officer Collins slowly reached toward her handcuff key. Her partner grabbed her wrist. Wait, if he's really under arrest, we can't just let him go. The chief slammed his helmet onto the hood of the patrol car. If we don't, we're about to watch children burn alive. The officers stared at one another. The decision felt impossible. Then, a tiny voice echoed from the rooftop. Not screaming this time, just one heartbreaking sentence. Mister, my little brother won't wake up. Elijah's entire expression changed. He stepped forward as far as the handcuffs allowed. His voice became calm, steady, almost frighteningly focused. Listen to me. When those cuffs come off, nobody follows me. The chief frowned. What are you talking about? Elijah never looked away from the flames. Because the way I'm about to enter, every firefighter in this city was trained never to try. The firefighters looked at each other in stunned silence. One veteran whispered under his breath, he's talking about, no, he can't be. And for the first time that afternoon, even the fire chief looked afraid. Officer Sarah Collins pulled the handcuff key from her belt. Her hands were shaking. She unlocked one cuff, then the other. The steel hit the pavement. Elijah didn't say a word. He bent down, picked up his soot-covered helmet, pulled on his gloves, and tightened the chin strap with calm precision. The fire chief grabbed his shoulder. Captain, if this doesn't work, Elijah answered without looking back. It has to. He sprinted toward the burning entrance. Every firefighter instinctively moved after him. Stop. His voice thundered across the scene. Every boot froze. I told you, nobody follows me. He disappeared into the wall of smoke. Within seconds, he was gone. Only flames remained. Officer Collins stared into the fire. What is he doing? The chief swallowed hard. He's entering through the old maintenance shaft. One firefighter whispered, I've never even seen it. You haven't. It was sealed years ago. The chief looked toward the building, but Elijah remembered where it was. Inside, the heat was unbearable. Concrete cracked overhead. The hallway had become a tunnel of black smoke. Elijah dropped to one knee. He crawled beneath the smoke layer. Every movement was controlled. Every breath counted. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed behind him. A river of fire blocked the only visible exit. Outside, the crowd gasped as flames burst through another row of windows. A reporter pointed her camera toward the building. We've completely lost visual on Captain Brooks. Back inside, Elijah reached an old steel maintenance door hidden behind a broken laundry wall. He kicked it once. Nothing. Twice, the hinges snapped. A narrow vertical shaft appeared, exactly where he remembered. He clipped a rescue rope to an exposed steel beam, then disappeared into the darkness. Meanwhile, the rooftop was falling apart. The little girl held her unconscious younger brother tighter. The concrete beneath them continued to crack. A firefighter watched through binoculars. They've got less than 5 minutes. The chief didn't answer. His eyes never left the building. Then, everyone heard it. A child's voice. Not from the roof, from the chief's portable radio. Hello? Can anybody hear me? The firefighters stared at each other. The chief grabbed the radio. Who is this? My name is Noah. I'm scared. We found a firefighter. He says we're going home. A wave of relief swept through the crowd. People actually began clapping. But Elijah's voice suddenly cut through the radio. "Chief." His breathing was heavy. "I found the children." A smile spread across several firefighters' faces. Then Elijah said 6 words, "But we're not getting out." The entire street fell silent. The chief's face turned pale. What happened? Metal groaned somewhere deep inside the building. Elijah looked up. The entire shaft above him was beginning to collapse. The steel walls screamed. A violent crack echoed through the maintenance shaft. Dust poured from the ceiling. Chunks of concrete crashed only inches from Elijah's helmet. He pulled the 2 frightened children closer. "Noah, I need you to be brave." The little boy nodded through tears. "I'll try." Elijah looked at the little girl. "Keep holding your brother. No matter what happens, don't let go." She swallowed hard. "I won't." Outside, the fire chief pressed the radio closer. "Captain, talk to me." Elijah looked up the collapsing shaft. "There are too many children for one rescue trip." The chief's face fell. "How many?" Elijah counted quickly. 7. A stunned silence swept across the command post. 7 children. 1 firefighter. 1 collapsing escape route. Officer Sarah Collins whispered, "My God." The chief spoke into the radio. "We're sending another crew." "No," Elijah answered immediately. "If another team enters, they'll die before they reach us." Another explosion shook the building. The roof sagged lower. Burning beams crashed into the hallway. Outside, horrified parents screamed their children's names. Inside, Elijah spotted something, a large industrial ventilation fan, half buried beneath debris. His eyes narrowed. Then he smiled. "I have an idea." The chief leaned forward. "What is it?" "There used to be an emergency smoke exhaust system. It hasn't worked in years." Elijah shook his head. "It doesn't have to. If I can open the main vent, the smoke will pull upward. We'll have one clear path." The chief frowned. "Can you reach it?" Elijah looked at the burning ceiling. "Only if I climb above the fire." Even the veteran firefighters stared in disbelief. "That's impossible." Elijah clipped his rescue rope onto a steel pipe. He looked at Noah. "When I come back, we're running." Noah grabbed Elijah's glove. "Promise?" Elijah smiled. "I never break promises." He began climbing, straight toward the flames. His gloves scraped against burning steel. Molten debris fell around him. His turnout coat started smoking. Outside, everyone watched the upper windows. Suddenly, a section of the roof collapsed inward. The crowd screamed. Officer Collins covered her mouth. "We lost him." The chief lowered his head. No one spoke. Then, a loud metallic boom echoed through the building. 1 second later, thick black smoke suddenly changed direction. Instead of pouring downward, it rushed violently upward through the roof. A firefighter looked toward the sky. The vent, he actually opened it. Fresh air flooded the hallway. For the first time, the trapped children could breathe. Cheers erupted across the street. But Elijah wasn't celebrating. He looked behind him. His smile disappeared. The burning staircase had completely collapsed. The only way out had just vanished. The radio went silent. The fire chief gripped it so tightly, his knuckles turned white. "Captain, answer me." Nothing. Inside the building, Elijah stared at the wall of fire blocking the only exit. Behind him, 7 frightened children huddled together. Noah looked up at him. "You promised we'd go home." Elijah forced a smile. "And we will." His eyes searched every inch of the room. Collapsed concrete, twisted steel, broken pipes. Then, he spotted a large exterior rescue window. The glass was already cracked from the heat. Beyond it, only 40 feet of open air. Elijah keyed his radio. "Chief, I found another way." The chief's face lit up. "What is it?" "We're going out the east rescue window." The chief looked toward the building. His expression changed instantly. "No, that ladder won't reach." Elijah already knew. He calmly unclipped several rescue ropes from his gear. Then he tied them together. Every knot was fast. Perfect professional, he secured one end around a massive steel support column. He pulled hard. It held. He turned toward the children. Listen carefully. We're leaving one at a time. Noah spoke first. What about you? Elijah smiled. I'm the last one out. Outside, the aerial ladder stretched upward. Still, it stopped several feet short of the rescue window. The firefighters looked at one another. We're not close enough. The chief grabbed a loudspeaker. Captain, you'll have to swing them. Elijah looked down. 40 feet. Below, dozens of firefighters spread out with rescue cushions and safety lines. He took a deep breath, then smashed the window with his axe. Fresh air rushed inside. The crowd erupted into screams. Smoke poured into the night sky. The first child was secured to the rope. Elijah lowered her carefully. Halfway down, the rope scraped against burning metal. Tiny sparks began falling. Officer Sarah Collins whispered, "Please hold." The rope held. The child reached waiting firefighters. The crowd exploded into applause. One by one, the children descended safely. Each rescue drew louder cheers, until only Noah remained. Elijah clipped Noah onto the rope himself. The little boy hugged him tightly. "You have to come too." "I will. I promise." Noah disappeared over the edge. Seconds later, firefighters caught him safely. The chief smiled for the first time all night. "We've got all 7. The entire street erupted with relief. Then, a deafening roar echoed through the building. The steel column anchoring Elijah's rope bent violently. Officer Collins looked up. "The building's coming down." The chief grabbed the radio. "Captain, jump." Elijah looked behind him. The ceiling collapsed. A wave of fire rushed toward him. Without another second to think, he sprinted, leaped through the broken window, and disappeared into a cloud of smoke. The crowd screamed. For one terrifying moment, no one could see him. Then, a firefighter pointed upward. There, Elijah was hanging from the rope, sliding down as flames exploded behind him. The instant his boots touched the ground, the entire upper floor collapsed. The building disappeared into a massive cloud of fire, smoke, and concrete. A stunned silence fell over the street. No one moved. Then, Noah broke free from the paramedics. He ran across the street and wrapped both arms around Elijah. "You kept your promise." Elijah hugged him back. "I told you. We were all going home." Officer Sarah Collins slowly walked toward Elijah. She looked at the broken handcuffs still lying on the pavement. Her eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry. I judged the situation before I understood it." Elijah nodded quietly. "The important thing is that those children are alive." The fire chief stepped forward. He removed his own department medal from his uniform. Without saying a word, he pinned it onto Elijah's turnout coat. Every firefighter immediately stood at attention. One by one, the police officers followed, then the paramedics, then the crowd. The only sound left was the crackling fire in the distance. As emergency crews led the rescued children toward their waiting families, Noah turned back one last time. "You weren't just a firefighter. You were our hero." Elijah smiled. Heroes aren't the people who never feel fear. They're the people who keep moving even when they're afraid. If this story reminded you that true courage is measured by actions, not assumptions, let us know in the comments by writing hero. And don't forget to subscribe to Tale Fame for more powerful stories filled with courage, justice, and unforgettable twists.